So I wanted to talk to you today about how to structure your day so that it is complete and it gets you out of more and more danger and out of like the building situations that we have in life. Just generally, like there's backlogs, there's like all sorts of menacing, maybe interesting stuff that happens in the background. There's a way to have your day so that it is preventative to future problems and climbs you out of present time problems. I'm going to teach you how to have a perfect day. Whenever I don't have a perfect day, it's when I'm not doing these things, and when I remember to do these things, I have outstanding days. Either a day that gives birth to something amazing later on, or a day where right on that day something amazing happens. So the first element that you have to go over, the first thing that you do is, in order to make everything else easier, think. Thinking in terms of strategy, thinking about the things that you should remember throughout the day or keep in mind throughout the day, and thinking of what you're trying to achieve overall. Remember that your overall plan should override your temporary plan. If you're trying to make $20 right now, do not then forget that you're supposed to make $100 a day in the future. It is the thought that makes it easy. Abraham Lincoln once said, before you cut the tree, you sharpen the axe. He said, if I had 9 hours to cut a tree, I would spend 6 hours sharpening the axe. You need to sort of apply thought in order to make the thing easier. Then, if you start your day with somehow planning, somehow thinking of that overall big picture, and then you just trickle it down into a plan of a couple key things that you need to do in the day, then you'll actually be much better off, much more efficient than you would be without such a plan. Also keeping in mind the things that you need to remember, so on and so forth. All the mind things, you take care of them first. Then secondly, you need to sort of, we're humans. There's errors that we make. You need to actually mentally prepare yourself just as a human. There's discipline elements to this. There's like making sure that your resolve is all right, making sure that your body is in good enough shape that you're continuing forward well. One thing that I've observed is that when I have 8 hours of sleep, or just like enough sleep, maybe 7, maybe 6, I end up being more productive than if I have fewer hours of sleep, generally, because I can focus. Right? If you eat well, sleep well, the focus will make you able to snipe rather than shoot a whole bunch of bullets. Sometimes it's time for a whole bunch of bullets, yes. Sometimes it's time to work until 3 a.m. or so on and so forth. But usually in life, you're trying to get to an exact point. It requires accuracy, it requires focus. It requires you not to be too sleepy to energetically go about doing your tasks. I'm a photographer. You need to not be too sleepy to be observing your environment well, to be remembering your opportunities, to be simply walking with good posture. Enough that a person would feel like, man, this guy looks like he'd do a good job, or this guy looks like whatever it is. Making sure that you've taken care of yourself in all matters as a person, in terms of being the personnel of your job. As a person, make sure that you've taken care of yourself so that you can move forward. Now, the third thing that you need to think of is the money-making elements, right? You need to, every single day, tend to your money-making elements. This is your database of clients. Make sure that you are talking to them, promoting the next event, putting on a WhatsApp status, changing your Facebook, updating something onto your Facebook, so on and so forth, of the customers that you've already had. Realize that a customer that you've already had is far more valuable than the customer who you've never had, because you can already trust that person to give you money. That's the distinguishing element. Someone who has given you money is way more valuable than a person who has not given you money, because the link of trust is already formed. So very much of your time should go towards harvesting what you've already built up. If you haven't built up stuff, go find someone, build up a database. Make sure you save the numbers. Do not service someone and they walk off into the horizon, into the sunset. If you're their photographer on that day, you're their photographer forever. You have their number, or you have them message you. Make sure that that link is very available and that they see your status every once in a while so that they remember you towards the Valentine's Day, towards whatever event there is. The idea is keep yourself in the memory of the person. And then any promotional stuff, make sure that you have sort of ammo to like spread out and spend some of your day doing this. The first couple days maybe it won't yield results, but I'll tell you what, in the long term, this is the entire gold. This is the gold. Reminding someone that you're there. The third thing that you need to think about is your money plans. Where does your money need to go once you've made it? So any debts, you observe your money, right? And then you also need to make sure, if you're going to make progress in life, that your income is greater than your outgo. If you make 40 and spend 40, you're messing it up. If you make 40 and you spend 19, you're doing well. So then to get up to this point where income is greater than outgo, that's what makes a person gradually become more and more financially free. Now, and then also like observe what do you need in terms of equipment, in terms of so on, in terms of so forth, so that your money goes into the right place. That's the idea. Now the fourth thing? Now the fifth thing that you need to observe and try to work on is just the technical elements of your work. So me being a photographer, there's improvements that I need to make or can make always. Everyone can always make some kind of improvement, right? And it could be in terms of just literal quantity of stuff that you're doing, right? Or just taking a look at what's new on the internet, what new programs there are, what new features there are. It's you observe just the technicality of your job. If you're a baker, then you sort of look at baking. If you're a pharmacist, you sort of look at the pharmacy stuff. And that's the fifth thing. The sixth thing is quality control. All right, observe the quality of what you're doing. Place it up against other people, maybe within your field, and then just make sure that it's as up to scratch as you can have it. You need to have like just an observation time in the day. And then finally, the most important part, strangely enough, you need to have a time in your day when you are radiating your image in a good light. A public relations part of the day, a perception management part of the day. It means you're letting out to the public, not necessarily only customers that you've dealt with, but the raw public as well. You're making your good works well known. Don't lie to people, but I'll tell you what, there's definitely something good that you've done. Whether or not, like for me, it's a good photo or winning that one award or so on or so forth. You have a time where you just scatter out your flyers, so on and so forth. You just make sure that it's known that you are doing good out here. Your protection in any environment comes from the general people around you. If they have an idea that you are good or do good, then in the moment of truth, they will come to your aid. If people do not have an idea like this, or they have a neutral idea, they may not come to your aid. So realize that there's a moment of truth where you cannot see it, but it'll come. And that reinforcing element, the element that will keep you there, the element that will make you recommended by people, is that perception management element. So if you have those 7 parts of your day, you have had a perfect day. I often mess this up.